All right, we're back. Let's try this again. We gotta figure out why this keeps happening. 3 minutes. Let me go ahead and delete that one video because it is not valid. 333 period. Let's go to. Hey, can you hear me? I will keep talking until you let me know you can hear me. I'm having audio issues with this page. Can you hear me? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea why that keeps happening. It's really annoying, but I guess it's just what I have to do. So today's live, I just wanted to come on with you. And if you have any questions or just want to connect, or so this live is about if you have questions. You can ask me anything. You can share anything. Just connecting. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to delete that video. That and it's not happening. Welcome to the live, everybody. This is a Ask Me Anything video, or we can talk about certain topics. How do I delete this video? I need to delete it. Okay, here we go. Maybe it'll let me. Oh, okay, it's still processing. Okay, I hope I can delete that. Delete. Yes, I want to delete that. Yeah. How you doing? Oh, everybody's gone. Okay, everybody's gone. Okay. I wonder if that's the live. Welcome to the live. Okay, trying to figure out. Welcome to the live. Okay, so what do I want to talk about today? Oh, I thought you wasn't in here because it said I had nobody in the room. Free spirit. That's strange. I guess you can't judge the analytics. Okay, so free spirit said, "What's your hair and skin routine? You look amazing. No makeup." I appreciate that. I do like wearing makeup, but I'm just not one of those people that want to wear it all the time because I just would love to just scratch my eyes, and I can't do that when I'm wearing makeup. But my hair and skin routine is very simple. I don't really do anything with my hair. Like I might wash it every 2 weeks. My husband, he shaves my hair. I do go get it done maybe like every 3 months, every 2 to 3 months. And I just use shampoo and conditioner. I don't, and every once in a while I might put some oil in my hair, but my hair routine is very simple. I don't do any, and I think when you have locks, I think it needs to be because you got to think this is a nothing but dead hair like on my head. Like this is all the dead hair that's locked in. And so you're constantly putting stuff in your scalp, it's going to grow into the lock. So I just don't I just don't do anything with my hair. Now if I feel like I need moisturizer, I actually will just dampen my hair like cuz it's a plant. I look at my hair as a plant and you wouldn't be putting all kind of stuff on a plant. You would give the plants like water and some soil and sunlight and that's it. But that's how I look at our hair. As much as I love products and love buying things. With this type of style, I just feel like less is more. And make like skin routine. I do oil cleansing. I really don't use soap on my face. So, and I cleanse with oil and moisturize with oil. And one of my favorite brands is Living Libations. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a person that likes natural products. Look into, hold on, Living Libations. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a company based in Canada, but I love her products. So that's what and then I think diet plays a big part on your beauty and your health. Not just your health, but more so your beauty. Because if you have a good diet that is not consistent of like a whole bunch of sugar and processed foods, and you eat more whole foods and drink water, it does affect your skin. Some people, they like to go vegan and eat fruits and vegetables, and that has helped my skin at some point. But now the diet that I'm consistently on is more of a carnivore diet, which I've increased my fats and proteins and salts and water, and that has helped my skin tremendously. Stay away from sugar if you can. I still eat sugar, but I'm very mindful with it. So if you want to increase your beauty, remove sugar as much as possible. Like gluten, like anything that produces a lot of sugar in the body, remove it. Don't eat as much, and you'll see a difference in your skin. Yeah. So, because for me, like how I think of beauty, because I see it's very popular today that women and men, they do injections, they do the surgeries, they're doing all these different things. But for me, what was a rule of thumb for me is maintaining what I have. So I don't wear weave, but I do take care of the hair that I have. I've always had pretty decent hair because I took care of it. And then even with my skin, like I got wrinkles and stuff like that. But I take care of my skin, the quality of it. And even with my teeth, I take care of my teeth. And then I end up getting Invisalign. I end up getting braces because I want to take care of my teeth. Having all bunched up teeth, it does affect the health of your teeth. So I got those straightened, and then I exercise, and I do my best to eat a certain way and maintain my weight at a certain level. And then I also exercise, and I live a very stress free, peaceful life for the most part, like as much as I can. So I think beauty and health is holistic. I think like your whole life needs to be a regimen for your health and beauty. It shouldn't just be like you're doing one thing over here and then doing another thing over here. It affects the ecosystem of who you are. So that's what I've always done and continue to expand and learn, because I might be here now, but I'm also open enough to expand my philosophy when it comes to health and beauty. Because you never know. I might end up getting me some surgery one day, but where I'm at now, I'm like, no. Like, like where I am. So I'm not going to sit here and judge people that make decisions. I'm just not there. I understand why people make decisions, but just because I'm not there and I don't agree for that, that doesn't mean that I get to tell everybody else what's right for them. Because everybody is on their own journey and what that looks like. Because I've done things that people would be like they would never do, and it's ridiculous. I get it. Like I understand. So but that was a part of my process. So I just let people have their own process. And I might observe it, but I'm more so observing it against my protocol and my perspective, and let people just do what the hell they want. It's their life. Do I fast? Yes. I've been fasting over a year. So when I say yes to fasting, I do intermittent fasting. Like I don't. eat anything uh, until like 1 o'clock. So when I get up, I don't eat anything. Like I'll drink some coffee because they said that that's still considered intermittent fasting, but I don't put no sugar or anything. It's just fat and some coconut milk. But it's still considered a fasting state because I'm not in ketose. I'm in ketosis. But yeah, I technically fast, but I don't do the fasting. I don't know what type of fasting you're talking about, but I've been doing intermittent fasting for over a year and I love it. Like I love waking up and not immediately going to eat something. Give my body a break. And I think that also has helped me too. And I'm not rigid with that because with women, they have to be careful. They can't intermittent fast like most men. So for me, it's like I might start eating at 12, I might start eating at 1, I might start eating at 11. Like I allow my intermittent fasting to fluctuate, but between 11 to 1. And sometimes I don't eat till 2 o'clock. So I don't just stick to one thing because I have to honor my body as a woman, and our body goes through ebbs and flows like every day, every month. So I think as a woman, we have to be very mindful when not being so rigid. We have to, because men, they reset every 24 hours. Our bodies isn't like that. So what might work for you this week, it may not work for you next week. But I still think that as a woman, we need to have structure and order, but I also have, when it comes to what I put in my body, I have to honor like how my hormones are. But I do believe women should have. I do not believe women should just fa la la and be fairies and goddesses and just do whatever they want. I do not believe that at all. Women thrive in structure and order, like we really do. Create the container and the stability to allow your energy to be expressed. So that's like my philosophy on life, is that I it's like it's okay to just flow, but I think having structure and order and a routine to how you do life is so beneficial to women. I can't speak for men, but for women, I think everybody. Hell, it's not everybody can use some structure and order and routine in their life. Like so, but every once in a while, to get clarity and to audit your perspective, go off of that routine. Get off, go do something that is completely not structured, because it's like you got to make sure that you're not stuck in something that maybe you've outgrown or you need to elevate. So every once in a while, just get off of that routine. Don't be so rigid, and then you can see what needs to be adjusted. Yes. Yeah. So what else? What other questions do you have? Where are you at? I got questions for you. Where are you at in your life? How are things for you this year? What are some things that you have learned about yourself this year so far? What are some new habits that you have now? What are some things you learned about yourself that you didn't know? Like, I know there's a lot of questions, but okay. Oh, hey, peace, Libby, Libby Lou. So today is ask me anything, ask questions, uh, share perspective. Like, yeah, just I'm just here. I'm here for you guys right now. Because let me tell you what I was thinking. Because normally when I try to come on live, I try to have a topic. But I'm gonna tell you guys where I'm at right now in my life. Right now in my life, I am auditing some stuff in my life and realizing that there's some things that I thought I knew that I didn't know. And there's some things that I didn't even realize that I didn't know. And for me, the most powerful and the most dangerous thing a person has is their perspective, because your perspective is what governs your life. So right now in the space that I'm in, there is some things about my perspective that I need to like reconsider, and I need to really look at. So I'm really not like in more so like the teaching mode right now, because there's some things, because some of the things that I'm realizing is like it's affecting my life in a way that I didn't realize, and that is important to me. So I just kind of been taking the time, but at the same time, I still like coming on social media and connecting and bringing value, because this is free to do. And but that's where I'm at right now, like with some things in my life. And yeah. Libby said, I'm studying cybersecurity. What is that? What's cybersecurity? You know, I wish I had the capacity to sit down and a technical brain to sit down and learn whatever that is, or computers. Because when I first went to college, my degree was computer programming. Because I went to college, and I'm telling my age. I went to not that I care. I went to college in 2000, and at that time, that's when computers and technology and the internet was starting to be a thing. So I was really fascinated with it. But when I went to college for, because you either need to go to computer, you either need to go to college for computers or healthcare. Those were the two industries that were the most popular that they were pushing. So I started with computer programming. In my first year in college, my first semester, I got all straight A's. I've never got straight A's in my life. Then the second semester, I got my first F, because that's when I started getting into the computer stuff. And I realized that in that moment, I don't care that enough about computers to understand how they work. And mind you, I was only like 18 years old. And I wish that I would have had a mentor or someone that was guiding me and like, look, girl, this is new. And I know you don't understand, but you need to sit down and figure this out and do whatever you can. Like, I didn't have anybody in my life that pushed me. Like I followed the rules, and like, okay, you go to school, you get a degree, you graduate, and then you go get a job. Like, I didn't have people that were just like, no, you need to sit down and you need to figure out how to create a career and learn these hard things that you think that's hard. And computers was that for me. I did not care about how computers work. So after the second year, when I realized I am not my brain does not thrive with technicalities and stuff like that. Then I went over to healthcare. But then I realized I don't want to do clinical. I don't want to be touching people, and so then I just took the easy way out. But now where I sit today, I'm like, I wish somebody would have set me down and told me to get my shit together and figure it out. And it's okay to do hard things and to do things that makes you uncomfortable. You know, that's because I would have been good either way with the computers or the healthcare. But I ended up getting like a bachelor's in healthcare management. And it's funny because all the people that managed me, they didn't even have degrees. So most managers don't even have a college education, you know. And so then eventually, years later, before I hit 30, I had got a certification in medical coding, and then that's what changed my career for the better. But I didn't do anything with that because most of y'all know 2017, I ended up leaving my life and joining the cult. When my career was really starting to take off, I ended up leaving it all, and then yeah, went to Costa Rica. So yeah. hmm Free Spirit said, I'm trying to get out of procrastination mode because I have goals and time is going on whether I keep up or not. What makes you, have you sat down and thought about why you're in procrastination mode? Because you have goals, so you know what you're aiming for, but those goals don't seem like it's enough to get you to take action. Have you sat down and thought about why? Libby said, do you have someone in your life you trust to run your perspective and aspirations by? You would definitely benefit from that. I mean, look, okay, let's put it this way. For me, it's like I go with my intuition. I go, it's like, and when someone tells me something, I feel challenged by it, and I don't have a clear answer, that's enough for me to know that there's something here. You understand? Like, because I can't necessarily go to a person that I know that don't know this shit either. There ain't nobody. A lot of times there ain't nobody to go to for certain things. So I don't when I trust myself enough to know that I know when it's time to grow. And with the information age that we're in, there's so much information, but it's your responsibility to intake the information that's actually going to be useful to your life. Okay? There's a lot of information out there, and it's up to you to take in what's actually going to create change and growth and elevation. That's a choice. And what I've learned is that you don't really have control over that, because in your mind you're thinking like, oh, what I know is what I know, and this is good, and is enough. But if you are a truth seeker and you are somebody that wants to hold yourself accountable and responsible to your life, you're going to attract information that's going to help you. The only information that you have access to is based on your perspective. So if you are a person that don't choose to hold yourself accountable and responsible, if you're not a person that's eagerly wanting to learn and grow and wanting to go deep, you're not going to attract the information that's aligned to that. You're going to attract the information that's aligned to your mind. So that's why I'm not really worried about anything, because I know that no matter what, I'm going to accept the truth, no matter how much it hurt. I love the truth. I love knowing the truth about things, even if it challenges what I think is true. Like, that's who I am. So I've been very fortunate enough to get things in my field that really helps me expand and elevate who I am and my consciousness. Like, it's always been that way, and I don't have to worry about anything because it just always just came to me. I'm just open and ready for whatever that is. And so right now where I'm at, there's some things that I've been sitting with, and I'm just like, okay, all right, because I see, based on my understanding, this is why I get the results that I've been getting. So let me sit down and listen for a little bit, because yeah, 1 plus 1 ain't adding up to 2, like that. So that's when I'm like, okay, I'll be a student. Like, I interchange. Like, I'm a good teacher, but I'm an excellent student. I love to learn, and I think that you have to be both. You can't just be one or the other. I think it requires you. A teacher needs to also learn how to be a good student, to always learn. And that's where I feel like I'm at right now. Okay, Free Spirit said, I do. I guess I'm strange because I didn't think of that. I see my family every day and I don't discuss those things. I just would show the results of the work I put in. Okay. Cybersecurity, in simple terms, is securing your computer from threats like hackers and viruses. Okay. You know what? Since having a MacBook, that's something that I don't really think about. When I had a PC, I used to get viruses all the time. But now I don't even think about. I don't know if I have like a cybersecurity on this computer or not. Maybe it's built in with Apple. You tell me. But I don't even. I just remember what was it called? The virus. What was that virus? It was called. It started with an N. No, not it didn't start with an N. But there was this product that you put on your computer to protect you from viruses. I don't even think about that now, like viruses and stuff. That's interesting. So you tell me about Apple, if that's built in. So what else is on y'all's mind? Here, my child. So one of the things I'll share this with you. One of the things that I've been contemplating on, because right now I'm in contemplation. So that's why I don't really feel like talking about anything as much, because right now I'm in contemplation with some stuff. So I don't have the answers. I'm just like, this is where I'm at. One of the things that I am contemplating on is love. And what somebody has brought to my attention is that most people don't know what love is. And everybody has their own interpretation of what love is, but their interpretation really isn't weighted in anything. Because when you think about what you think about love, what is love? Like really, what is love? And most people will say love is unconditional, or love is a feeling, or love is a state. Like, but that is that doesn't that's not a meaning to it. What does it mean to to be unconditional? Well, we know that's not when we know that's not true. Love is not unconditional. Um, because but then at the same time, it's like we all want this thing that we don't really know what it is. We don't really understand what it is. And then if I don't fully understand what love is, how can I say I love myself when I don't really understand it? Like I'm regurgitating stuff that everybody else has said, but that most people don't know what love is. And then the reason why most people don't know what love is because most people say love isn't enough in a relationship. Well, then when they list the things that's required in a relationship, that isn't love. And it was like, well, if all of these things isn't love, then what is love? And then when you challenge people on that, they don't know, that they don't have the answer. And so I realized I'm one of those people that I'm like, you know what? I don't have a clear definition on what love is. So if I don't have a clear definition on what love is, what am I giving in my relationships? What if I'm giving to myself? And I know the person I'm in a relationship with don't know what love is. So what is this person giving to me? It's just like, what are we doing as humans? What are we doing as men and women if we all don't really know what love is, and we're using these cliche terms like unconditional when we do, when we know for a fact when we relating to each other, it is nothing unconditional about that. It is based on conditions. So what are we doing? And so that's what I've been contemplating on with myself, and I am, and I am learning a framework, but I'm learning how to apply it to my life. And I'm just so I don't have the answers. So don't y'all ask me, because I'm still contemplating. But that's a question I give to you. Like, what is love? What is it? Okay, let me say, you like a definition to everything, but that's the part of being human. We don't know everything, and whoever claims that they do know everything is full of lies. I mean, yeah and no, because I believe that we the reason why I want a definition to certain things is for clarity and for structure. And everything that we do, there's a system to it. Love has a system, but we don't really know that system. So when you hear people talk, if you really listen, they don't really know what love is. And the definition that they give, they don't really live by that. You understand? So it's like, for me, it's like it's having me sit down and contemplate, because it's like, what am I aiming for? What am I aiming? If I'm saying something, but I really don't understand, misunderstanding. So for me, I don't like that. Like, I don't like knowing that what I'm basing my life on, or what I'm doing is based not fully understanding something. And for me, that is scary. Maybe for most people, they're okay with that. But for me, it's like, I want to be clear about what I'm doing and how I'm showing up in life. And I'm not going to be able to know everything, because that's not what life is about. But just like with technology, you're always getting an update. You always have the option to update the program, to update the system. That's just, and we're technological too. So for me, it's just about, I want to understand the human that I am. I think a lot of times when we say we human, we just think, it's just this just everything. It's a system to being human. Now, everybody might have a different system of what that looks like, but a lot of times people are very vague because they don't want to take the time to understand. They rather just float and flow in life, and that's fine for most people. I just know for me, life is more fun when it's intentional. When I'm intentional and when I understand. But ignorance is not bliss for me. But at the same time, I don't know what I don't know, and I accept that. But if I find something that I don't know and I have the opportunity to learn it, then I'm going to go towards that. But I'm not going to get caught up in the space of I don't know what I don't know. I'm not going to get caught up in that. But when something's presented to you, you now have a choice. What are you going to do? And so that's how I usually move. It's like, once it's in front of me, now I have a choice. But if it's not in front of me, there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I'm not going to live in fear or anxiety, or uh but when it's there in front of me, now I get to make a decision. It's all about what you decide to do with what's in front of you. um and yeah, so that's vaguely where I'm at. Yeah, yeah, CJ, it's a deep question. That's what I'm saying. It's a deep question. What is love? I don't, and y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about it. I'm in contemplation mode right now, and um, who, because that's going to tell me a lot about who I am when I start learning it, and it's going to change my decision making, because what I'm basing love on is affecting my decision making. But if I know I'm not really clear about what love is, then I'm making my decisions based on something I'm not really clear about. I don't know about y'all, but I'm just like, oh my God. Like, oh, okay. Like, damn, that's crazy. But then it answers questions. It gives me the answer to some questions. It gives me clarity to why certain things keep repeating in my life. So it's helping me be like, oh, so this is why this occurred in this way. Like I'm connecting the dots. So it's like if you keep repeating something keeps repeating in your life, you want to pay attention. There's a reason for that. Like, why does this keep showing up? Why I keep having why am I keep dealing with this? And it has something to do with your level of understanding. You know? Huh. Oh yeah. CJ said, is it defining love or the many ways to express it? Yeah, 'cause most people will say love is a feeling, and love is unconditional. Um, like I'm sure everybody in the five people in this room, y'all all have your own definition of love. Everybody has their own definition of love. But then you get into a relationship. What is their definition of love? And then when you really think about when you're in a relationship and the requirement that you might have, is that love? Is that love? Because my quest or my journey has been discovering about loving myself and honoring myself. Like I love myself. Well, what the hell does that even mean to love yourself? Um, and I know that he said love is understanding. Love is understanding. Okay. But then it's like, what does that mean? Somebody can hear that and completely just have their own perspective to it. So, if anything, what I'm realizing is that just because people use certain words, it doesn't mean that you're using them in the way that you understand them. They're using the words based on what they understand. And that's why there's so much conflict in relationships. And see, this is something important that I believe everyone that wants a relationship or have been in a relationship to understand is that as men and women, or women and women and men, if you are complaining about relationships, it is because you're going into the relationship based on your understanding, or they're coming into a relationship based on their understanding. Well, hell, what is your understanding? What do you understand about life? And we want to blame men, we want to blame women, but we're all moving on a program that we don't truly understand or even aware of. And the reason why life is so hard is because we don't really understand it. We're winging it. So when I started sitting with that, I'm like, yeah, I can say I have been winging some stuff in my life. Okay, so I'm going to stop pointing my little finger up at you and then put that back on me and be like, oh, girl, who do you think you are? Or who are you? You know? And so now that I And I just love it. I just love it. I just love it because it's like now that I'm starting to be aware of it, it's like my perception of people is starting to change. My judgment of people is starting to change. I was like, I can't judge you. You're moving and you're acting on your level of understanding. It's not a personal attack to me. This is who you are based on what you understand yourself to be and how you interpret life. It's like, it's just so freeing. It's just like, yeah, people are who they are based on their understanding of who they are. And most people don't take the time to understand who they are. So this is why you get what you get with people. And yeah, right. Some people's definition is to take you off the planet. Yeah, like what type of person is that? How do they see life? Like for you to be like to take you off the planet, what does that even mean? Like yeah, it's just like I guess for me, I just look at what people be saying, and I just think most people are oblivious to life. They're not even thinking about. Most people just are not aware to certain things, but they're complaining. But that's my thing. It's like you're not aware, but you're complaining. That's what I'm saying. Like you're complaining about something that you're just not aware about, but you're complaining. So um, instead of complaining, gain more understanding. Because these people, what you're complaining about, they only are aware of what they're aware, and most likely they probably don't really understand it. What they talking about? Yeah, right. In their mind is love, but we know it's not. Yeah, because we're basing on what we think is love. But that ain't love either. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of studying and soul searching and just yeah, just learning. That's it. There's no, I don't have any concrete answer like, okay y'all, this is it. Like right now I'm just learning and taking it in and just learning. That's what I'm doing. Just learning and and just paying attention and wanting to understand myself as a woman, as a human, you know. Mhm. And just like I told y'all, doing an audit on my life, just with everything and seeing the inconsistencies and the consistencies of my life, and being like, yeah, hmm yeah. So that might be something y'all want to ponder on. What is love? What is love? How do you know what love is? That's something you want to think about for yourself. Do I know what love is? How do I know that this is love? Is it a feeling? Is it an action? hmm Because when people tell you that they love you better put that through one ear out the other. Because if how can they love you when they don't understand what it is? So how can you love me when you don't even understand what love is? You don't even know what love really is. So when a person tells you that they love you, let it go out this ear through this ear. because how do you know that they really know what it is? And then some people will be like, because of action, maybe. But then, what type of action? What type of action is that? Everybody got their own interpretation of the action of what love is. Some people think you got to sacrifice yourself for love. Some people think I ain't putting up with shit because of love. Like, what is it? There are some women out there that think getting bopped inside their head is love. And there are some people that say you choosing yourself is not love. What is it? Hmm. What is it? Yeah. So, what other questions y'all have besides love? Besides love, y'all. What other questions? I think I get what you're saying. I have a perspective on it. It's like a lens or a palette. As a child, love may be sharing a toy. When we are older, it's something different, but both are valid. Yeah. What do you mean a child's love? Because you know one thing I learned about my son. The reason why I said this is a new thought. I don't think we come in here knowing how to love. I think that's something that we must learn and um, build over time. I don't think as humans we automatically come in here loving. It's not in our nature. It's not in our nature to love. Love is a it's a what's the word? It's a system. And I don't think we come in here knowing how to love, or even our intentions is that. My little boy, he he cares he don't care nothing about love. The only reason why he might use it is because I continue to say it to him, but he doesn't understand it and he does not care. He's learning now he can use it to manipulate. He can use the word, but it really doesn't matter to him. Because sometimes he'll be like, Mom, I love you. And I'm like, oh, I love you too. He was like, nah, I hate you. Like it doesn't love doesn't register to him. And sharing a toy, I don't think that he's doing it because of love. Like this is what I've been observing, and I think it's funny that, and if you are a parent and if you have kids, you tell me, because as a parent, the children are the most self-centered, selfish people that I know. They don't care about what you how you feel unless you teach them to do that. And every child is different. There are some children that are just more aware and they care, but I wouldn't say that is love. I wouldn't say that it's love that they're doing. It's just that children have less judgment. That's the difference. Children have less judgment. They don't have enough experience to then base it that because you did this means that. Children don't make meaning of things. They're like in the moment. And so when I see children, they are so real and so authentic. Maybe that is love. Maybe that is love, because I'm telling you, these children, now I become a parent, I'm around children a lot. These children don't give a damn. They don't care. They will say the thing and do the thing. Maybe that is love. Maybe it is. I don't, but that's what I realized with my son. it's like he don't love me. he he likes me. He's attached to me because since the beginning of his time, I have been his source of food. I have been his source of survival. I have been the source of his needs. So I don't want to get that confused with love because he knows mommy is how he gets things. So I don't want to convolute that and be like, oh, he loved me. Like, no, you're the person that gives him what he wants. So I think sometimes parents they get that twisted. They think because their children look at them a certain way, it means this. It's like, no, you're their source. Like you're the one that provided everything. Of course they're going to come to you and this and that. But then we try to make meaning of that. But over time, it's like I'm teaching him and developing him to be aware of certain things and developing his perspective with certain things. But I don't want to get it twisted. Like, oh, me personally, I don't do that because I've realized it's like I'm projecting. I'm projecting my perspective on him to what he's doing. Yeah. It says, okay, so when you break it down that way, can we say love is a thought, an action, and an expression? What I'm starting to learn is that love is a system. It's like a system, like with anything else, like with who was it that's saying that she is doing cybersecurity? Well, there's a system to that. The reason why she can learn and study cybersecurity and know all that she can know about it because somebody created a system. And so, what I'm starting to realize is that there is a system to love that we must learn. So it wouldn't. So that way, it ain't gonna be like, well, is it this? Is it that? And I'm not gonna tell y'all what I'm learning, who I'm learning through, until I actually get exposed more to it, and until I apply it to my life. And so, but I'm just talking to you guys about where I'm at currently, like just what I've been thinking about. But I don't want to put nothing out until I like be like, oh yeah, this is legit. Okay. But to be self-mastered, to be mastered in anything, you must learn the system. All masters became that way because of a system. It's not because I just like no, they most masters, most teachers, most gurus became that way because of the system that they live by. So that's what has brought to my attention that love is a system. There's a system to love that most humans, men and women, have not learned or become aware of. So we're just bumping our heads and saying things that ain't don't really mean anything. Because if it did, why are we so divided even more? Why do we have even more misunderstandings about each other even more? It's not getting any better. It's even more. Okay. And we're starting to wake up to that. We're starting to get more clear. And that's why a lot of information is changing about the way men and women relate to one another. It's because how we've been doing it's this and it's like, you know, and so now I think new information is going to be coming out. And so for me, the new information that I received is that um, the answer to all things is love. But what is that? Like, what is the system of love? Because when I think about anything that I've learned that I really applied to my life, it had a system to it. Okay. Even with business, there's a system to business. There's certain things in business that you must have in order to have a successful business. So to go beyond animals, because we're all animals, But to be human and to be a man and woman, there's requires certain systems in place through your development. When you were a baby, when you were a child, teenager, and adult, there's always been different systems in place to get you from point A to point B and point C. And then, like, so that's why, like, in America and in these countries, they all have systems. We're all governed by systems. The governmental system, the school system. Systems is what adult humans need to advance or to be controlled. There's a system in place. There's always different systems. Okay. Am I proud of how far I have come as a person since leaving the cold? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And see, and he had a system. That's what a cult is. A cult is a system. Like a church, religion is a system. But I don't think we ever consider that love also has a system. Um, but yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm very proud of the person that I am since leaving the cult. I'm proud of the person I am since becoming a mother. Um, I'm proud of myself because I just keep learning. I keep learning and having experiences. And I don't think as humans we give ourselves enough experiences to explore life, you know. And so that was an experience that I had that I can still live to this day to talk about if I wanted to. But that experience didn't like destroy me. It didn't like in my life or something. So, but I definitely learned a lot, and it freed me from another system that I was in. It gave me the space to get out of that system that I was in to then explore life. But now that I had those 7 years to just be and to live my life and raise my child, it's like now I'm like, okay, now what? Now I can't keep doing this. I'm not like I love being a wife, I love being a mom, but something is missing. And that's when I realized for myself, it's like I don't have a system in place for my life. It's like I had structure, yeah, but the system of now what? Because I'm raising a child and I have a family. You got to make sure that you have systems and structure in place, and that's where I'm like, we don't have that. Like we've been living our life. It's like I think that's what was so attractive about carbonation that people don't realize the reason why. Because I like I told y'all I've been watching all these think pieces on people that's discovering it or rewatching it, and I say and they always ask this question: why would anybody get into something like that? Because he had a system in place. He had a system, he had a philosophy. He wasn't just some nigga talking on the internet in the jungle butt naked. Like he literally had a whole philosophy and a system, and people trust that. People are guided by that because as a human being, when there's a system in place, it helps you elevate. So that's why he was able to attract so many people, so many lost souls, so many wanderers, because he appeared solid because he had a system in place. This is how we do things. He had a whole philosophy. So that solidified him as being a particular leader. That's why. Now, everybody may not have been aligned to that system, but everybody that went to that, they went in it because there was a system in place. So it gave them a sense of stability and a sense of purpose, because now there is I'm going to go over to this system. I'm going to leave the Babylon system and I'm going to go into nature, as he would say, nature system, into what he created. That's why. So if you want to program, or if you want to control the masses or people, create a system that will help them think, that'll help them move, that will help them create, that'll give them purpose and meaning. If you can create a system like that, then you got it. That's just like with college and going to school. They have a sister school system. They have something in place, and that's why we continue to go to school and get degrees, because we believe that system will improve and expand our life. So you want to look at all the things in your life that you believe in that don't necessarily have a system. You might want to question, well, what do I really believe about this? And so when we think about love, when we really think about love, there ain't no system to it that we know of. We're just like, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. And this is why so many people feel trauma around love. This is why so many people, when it comes to relationships, they don't know how to be in a relationship with another person. People are afraid of each other. They don't even want to be around. They just want to be single. They don't want to be bothered. They want because they don't understand there is a system to love in relationships. Yeah. But even if you learn the system of love, that may not mean you want to be in a relationship, but it might be, hold on, Zen, but it might be when you learn the system of love, it might help you how to relate better to yourself. Hold on. What you say, Zen? Zen, what? Oh, okay. When I get off the computer, I will come down and make us lunch. But do not go in the cabinet and get nothing. Okay. Okay, CJ said, I'm gonna have to go in a minute, y'all. I got a real question. Can I love someone but at the same time not act on it? And then can I not love someone and act in a way perceived as a loving action? What? Oh, Libby said you absolutely can. I live that on a daily, because what's love got to do with it? At times you need, and Libby, the thought that you said is like you need more than love. Well, what is it that you need? So it was an exercise that this person did. It was like most people believe love isn't enough. And then the exercise that this person did, they asked the people, okay, if love isn't enough, then what's required? And they listed over 100 things that they believe that is required, that's more than love. And then that's when she said, well, if this isn't love, then what is love? And no one could really answer the question, because they listed 100 things. They was listening about trust, honesty, accountability. They listed all these things, 100 things, and she was like, well, if this isn't love, all these 100 things, then what is it? And then I'm sitting back and listening. I'm just like, but most people think love isn't enough. But yet we're getting into these relationships thinking that love isn't enough. But then we're constantly saying, I love you, but love isn't enough. So what are we actually doing in these relationships? Because then when you start listing out the things that you think that isn't love, then you got to ask yourself, well, if I listed all these things and said they're not love, then what is love? So for me, it makes me step back and being like, okay, what the hell am I talking about? If I'm saying this, I'm like, I love myself, but what does that mean? Yeah. Okay, so Livy said outside of love, provisions. What's provisions? What's that mean? Protection, food, intimacy. I could go on. Okay, but what is love? If those all of those things you said that's not love, then what is love? I think that's what that person was getting at. Like we listed all these things. And it's just like if we're saying that love is not provision, love is not protection, love is not, well, obviously food. I mean, love is not intimacy, then what is love? If it's not those things, then what is love? And then that's when people will be like, oh, it's unconditional. No. Y'all, it makes me laugh because I'm just like, what in the hell? Like, I'm just like, it's like a dang, it's like, never really thought about that. Never really thought about it. Okay, CJ said, I think we all have love receptors. I think you're discovering a wider range. Some people only know to give the primaries and not a deeper range of colors. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think love is as complicated as we might think it is, or because it's like, but I think this the point of this conversation is to shine light that everybody has a different perspective on it. Hold on, Zen, are you calling me? Come upstairs right now. Come upstairs right now. That's y'all. Something I've been doing is bringing more structure into Zen's life. Like all his life, he never had a bedtime because we've always slept together in the tent. And so now that we are here and we have a house now where we have beds, it's like we still just all go to bed at the same time. And I'm just like, no, I was like, there needs to be a moment where Zen is asleep and the child is not around. Like we need to have a moment with each other where Zen is not here. Like he needs to go to bed before us. So his bedtime has been 9 o'clock, and which is beautiful. And he goes to bed, but now he's getting up early. And so now that he's getting up earlier, now he's hungry more times often than he normally would be because we usually go to bed since being here around like 11 o'clock. So if he goes to bed at 11 o'clock, then he's probably not going to wake up to about 10 o'clock at the latest, 10:30. So by the time he get up and get his life going, it's around 11 o'clock. So then I will give him his first meal, which is some fruit or something. So by the time he eat that, it's about 11:30ish. So then by the time he's hungry again, it's time for lunch. So it kind of like, but now he's been up hell since I think about 8 o'clock. So all he's been thinking about is food. Like right now it's 11 o'clock here. So he's been up for a good 3 hours. And all he's thinking about is, Mom, I want a snack. Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, I'm hungry, which he probably is. But I don't start cooking until like 11, like cooking the actual cooked food. I don't start cooking till 11:30ish. Because if I cooked him some food as soon as he wants food, and then when it's time for me to eat, he thinks he's going to be eating more food. So yeah, so That's the only thing about giving him a bedtime and having him go to bed early, is that he gets up early. He's up earlier. So I'm getting adjusted to that. And plus I just have to just have more discipline, being like, okay, it's okay if he wants food and he doesn't get it. You know that he could be hungry, but he will be okay. It's okay for him to desire wanting food, but not fulfilling that every satiable urge. Because sometimes when he's hungry, he's not hungry. He just, if there was children around, he wouldn't be thinking about food. But because he's just sitting around in the house, he just he's going to the next best thing. It's like, oh, what can I eat? And it's annoying. Yeah, so I might get off in here in a couple more minutes. Yeah, y'all. So I don't have the answers. And I think that's a beautiful place to be in. Like, I don't have the answers. I don't know what to tell you. Good luck in life. Yeah. But the thing that I like to do is share my perspective based on my experience, because my experience tells me a lot of things, you know. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Libby. So it was a good, yeah, it's just like something to think about. And I think that's where I'm headed with y'all, is that when I get off the camera and it's raining, so I don't think I'm going outside. So you see what I'm saying? Now he's saying, let's go outside. Let me get some meat. Let me do this. Let me do that. Like, child, if you don't. And another thing, another thing that I have been reevaluating is that, because I homeschool my child and I love that for me and him. But I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I think he needs to go to school. I think he needs to get exposed to certain things. He needs to get out of the house. And he's so curious, and he's such an independent thinker. And he really is influenced by the people around him, but he also, and that could be good or bad. Like, children can influence him good and bad. So, but him just being home, and right now he's on his tablet. Now, in the mornings, I don't let him be on his tablet, and I do my best to give him like spaces in between that. But if he can't go outside and he's just in the house, and sometimes he plays with his toys, sometimes he plays with his tablet, and I'm just like, he's just here. And I was like, in school, at least he gets to learn things, be around children. Life is like giving him all different types of experiences. But being here with me, it's like he's just here, and he waits for the children to come home from school. So that's what I've been thinking. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I definitely have been thinking about putting Zen in school. Like, you don't need to be here. You need to go. You need to be out. You need to be out discovering life and learning and having experiences, because you're just here with me. But I could be wrong. But that's just like intuitively, because you know what, you had somebody had asked me, like, is there anybody you can, I don't I don't necessarily need to go to anyone for this. I can just feel it. Because before I had Zen, I had this idea of life. I had this idea of I had this idea of how life should be, how it's going to be like as a mother, how my child was going to be raised. I had this whole idea. But then once my child came here, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you're not basing it on real life. You're not basing it on the child that you have. I do think there are children that would thrive in homeschool. But I'm looking at my child, and based on what I know of him and how I see him move, he thrives being around people. Like, with me as a child, I would have thrived homeschool, because you want to know why? Because I'm an introvert, and I actually love being alone, and I learn more on my own in something that's more intimate. My child, on the other hand, he loves being around all different types of people. He loves having people around. So only thing about school is that it's more rigid in their structure because he has to sit down all day and do certain things. Now, if it's a certain type of school, that's different. But the typical school, they usually just sit down and the children listen and learn. And I don't know how his energy would go with that. Like, I would love to find an alternative school. So now that I have him, it's like it's that mother intuition because I'm developing him. So I'm like, well, what does his system, what does his program, what does his makeup need versus what I want, who based on who I see him as and what he's into and his personality and what I see that he's attracted to, I'm basing the development on that. But there are certain principles that I still want to instill in him. Like there's certain things that I want him to be aware of. And I'm learning and balancing, like, don't kill his spirit, but also you have to develop him and make him aware of certain things that, you know what I mean? So that's that's what parenting has been for me, is developing your child, seeing who they innately are, but then also developing them to be in the world that they're in, but still allowing their expression to come through, but like helping them use that as expression to their benefit versus to their detriment. So just learning that. So that's why I was thinking about school. I said I wonder how he would do in school. Like what would that do for him? Like how would that change his life? Like in a positive way or negative way. And it's an experiment, you know. It would be an experiment. So I wouldn't be so hell bent on like, no, you got to stay in school. Like, no, we could try it out. And if it's something I see that's not really helping, then I will pull him out because then already knows how to read. He knows already how to count and do the things. Like he already knows how to do that. He knew how to read by the age of 6. So he knows how to do a lot of the basic stuff. But there's other things outside of just me sitting here teaching him that I think he could benefit from school. And not necessarily, people always want to be like social. No, he's always social. But I think what school can give him is community. Like community is really big for anyone. I think community is important. And that's what I see school as a community. Because if I'm not going to be around my family, if I'm not going to have all these people around me, how is my child getting exposed to community? And I think a lot of us that are like homeschoolers and want to be away from the system, we don't realize the benefits that some of these systems have for our development to be in the world that we're in. Um, so just allowing myself to observe, and then just going with the flow of him, but then still giving some structure to that. Um, that's what I'm learning at 7 years of being a parent. Is reevaluating. So I'll see. Okay. So let's see. Libby said, oh, CJ said you should have a follow-up on that question. Yeah, and that's what probably what's going to evolve what I teach is learning this and just getting exposed more to the conversation of this. And then I'll continue to share it with you because it could just be a bunch of baloney. I don't know. But what I do know is that it has me looking at things differently. That's what I do know. Where I'm headed has me looking at things differently and it's giving me relief in my life because things that just didn't make sense to me, I didn't understand why. But now that I'm asking these questions, it's starting to make me look at like, why do you do that? Like, why did you think that? Like, oh wow, like no, thinking that way is actually not good. Like, it's just that's where I'm at. It's just like, and last week I was crying like every day because I was like, oh my God, all the decisions that I made. Oh my God. And I was so like uh adamant about it. And I was like, damn. And just, yeah. And I was crying every day because it was like expanding my mind. It was like opening my mind. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't, you know. And so now I'm not like emotional about it. More now I'm like, okay, all right. All right. So now you're going to your next cycle with this new perspective. All right, let's see where this goes. Or maybe it won't go nowhere. Hell. You should have a follow up on that question. Kids' bedtime around these parts is 8 p.m. I know that's right, Libby. That's too early. That is too early. He'll be up if he will be up. If I make him go to bed at 8, he'll be up about 6 or 7. And I gotta start getting up earlier because I need to get up before everyone. I don't like getting up with them. I like getting up before everyone because I just want to be up. I don't want nobody talking to me. So now I have to set my alarm to about 6:20 so that I can get up before him because he'll usually get up around 7ish now. And so now I'm getting up at 6 just so I can go to the gym and be up in silence. She have snacks, an apple and peanut butter. Yeah, I agree. Gives you a break and gives him a way to bounce ideas with different kids and interact, and he can burn some energy because kids tire each other out. hmm and like he goes outside every day, and we do stuff every day. Like he's always outside, but it's like you said, it gives us a break. And then his personality develops because right now he can only do but so much around me and his dad, but when we're not there he has a whole other personality that's independent from our field that we're in. We know that like when we're around our parents we're one way, but when we're around our peers it's another. So all the things that we've been instilling in Zen, when he goes out into the world he's going to take that with him, plus develop into something independent from us as well. And he's 7 years old. So I just knew that I didn't want him away from me at a very small age. And I was like, if I have you away from me, you have to be at the age where you can articulate and tell me if someone did something to you or violated you in some way. You know how to talk to me about that. But as a baby, he can't tell me nothing. But at 7, 8 years old, like he's old enough to be like, Mom, such and such did such and such. And I'm like, okay, like we can communicate. So I think that's where my hesitation is that I want to let him out when he is ready to take on some responsibilities. And usually around teenage years, it's the time you're supposed to give them responsibilities to now you get to figure out life a little bit more. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do. Now you're going to learn and you're going to learn about yourself and people and have critical thinking. That's where critical thinking starts. Because when they're small children, it's like you get to tell them what to do. You are the authority. It's about what you say. But then once they become teenagers, now it's like, all right, let's see what you're going to do with some independence. Like, let's see what you're going to do with that a little bit more. Like now you got to start making sense of the world around you and be more aware of the world around you. Um, so that's why I'm like, am I going to wait until he's at that age or start giving him that independence a little bit more now as he's getting older? Do you have a homeschool network so that he can meet up with other kids and they do field trips and meetups? So yeah, yes. Since being in Mexico, I have that. I didn't have that in Hawaii, but here in Playa, they have one of the best homeschool groups. I love it so much. Like we meet every other week with activities and stuff. Like the lady, she does such a good job with her homeschooling program, but that still requires me to be there. So I'm thinking about school is like a break to where he's over here, I'm over here. Um, but yeah, the homeschooling network, I love it. Like I'm not worried about, but yeah, but it is a community. It is a community, and she is trying more to have more activities where we're all coming together. But I think what I'm more so thinking about is somewhere he can go where we're not there. Give him more independent time from us, a little bit more where he can be with himself and around other adults, because he don't tend to look at adults as authority because he's not around enough adults to be like, oh, that's an authority, I gotta listen to them. Not necessarily, he will not, like, because he's not used to being around all different. He's only used to being around me and his dad most of the time. So when other adults try to come around and tell him what to do, he's looking at them like, no. And they're looking at him like, dang. And like, because he's not used to being around adults. See, with children, he's used to being around other children. But what I'm learning is seeing he's not used to being around other adults. And I think that is important. I think being around adults and knowing how to carry yourself as a child around adults is really important. Like he always around kids, but it's being around different ages of adults, being around the elderly people. Do you know how to be around elderly people? Do you know how to be around like other adults, and do you listen to them? Do you know how to communicate with other adults? Like how do you see them? How do you carry yourself around other adults? Because with Zen, he don't care. He's just like he will tell them no in a heartbeat. Don't ask me to do nothing, I'm busy. Like he will say that to an adult. And so I'm like, okay. I get it, child. I understand that we don't force you to do a lot of things, but when you're around adults, it's like I want him to know how to articulate himself and not be so direct with them, because I know adults are very sensitive. Adults are so sensitive, and they don't look at children as human. So it's like, so I'm thinking of them. My child is fine, but I'm thinking about how adults are. Adults don't look at children like human beings, and that they have feelings, and some of the things that you do to children you would never do to another adult. Like adults don't look at children like that. So I know that. So that's why I'm like, okay, I got to equip Zen with that in mind, that when you are around an adult, be aware of this. Just be aware. So yeah, so that's what I've been thinking about and moving towards with him. How can I get him exposed around more adults? And so when I went home to West Virginia, I got to see that. That's what gave me this thought, because I'm like, he ain't used to being around old people. Like he is not used to being. And see, me growing up, I was used to being around elderly people all my life because my grandparents raised me. Like they were at least in their 50s. And so I'm used to being around old people. I'm like, in the churches, going to nursing homes. Like I have my great grandmother living with us. I'm used to old people, but my son is not used to that. So that's why I'm like, okay, this is a learning opportunity. Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, I've been on here an hour and 30, especially in Black families. Let them tell it. We didn't have emotions, feelings, or opinions until we can. Exactly, Libby. Yeah, because when I went home, and my grandmother, I wasn't in the room. It was Zen, my uncle, and my grandmother. They was in the room, and Zen was on his tablet, either watching something or whatever. and my grandmother's phone rung. I was in the kitchen, and my grandmother's phone rung, and then she was like, "Zen, go get my phone." And Zen was like, "No, I'm busy." Like, he was just like, "What you asking me for?" Next thing I know, my uncle just started screaming at him and talking about, "You better get her phone. And if your mama heard you talk like that, she will whoop your butt." And da 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 da. And my son do not give a damn about your emotions. If you coming at my son aggressive and hollering, I'm gonna tell you right now, he gonna look at you like you crazy. He gonna be like, that does not phase him. If anything, that's going to egg him on even more not to give a damn what you're talking about. Like, that does not work. Like, he looks at people like that, they're weak. Mind you, my son has a moon in Aquarius, so he's detached from that type of stuff. It doesn't mean that he don't have emotions. It's just that he looks at you being emotional and it doesn't register with him. Like, he doesn't. It's just like, you're done. Like, that's how he is. Like, so um so then I'm like, "Oh Lord." So I'm going in there and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, and then my uncle's still yelling. I was like, "Hold on, all right." I was like, "Then," I said, "Okay, y'all tell me what's going on." And my uncle was like, "Her phone rang and he wouldn't go get it. And he told her because he was busy." I said, "Okay." I said, "All right." I said, "Okay." So I said, "Zen," I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna spank you. Okay, that it's just that they wanted you to get the phone." Y'all laughing. I was like, "They wanted you to get the phone." He's like, "But mom, I'm busy right now." I said, "I get that." I was like, "Usually," I was like, "You don't always have to just do what someone tell you to do, but in this instance, grandma needed your help." I said, "She's elderly. She can't just get up and move, and her phone rung, and so she needed you to help." I said, "Just like with babies, babies need our help. They can't do things like we can do things. And the elderly people are the same way. They're much slower. They can't just get up and get something. So because you were right here, grandma needs your help." And I said, "In our family, we help the elderly." Now, you not I said, "Every time you don't have to just do what someone say." I said, "But sometimes you do gotta help the elderly people." And I said, "I'm not gonna spank you." And I said, "But I do want you to start, when we're around the family, I would like for you to be more helpful. Like, in our family, we like to help each other." And I said, "But if you're not available to help, there's a different way to say that. But saying you ain't going to because you're busy," that's why they got upset, because they didn't really like how you said. I was like, "But you're not in trouble." I was like, "But I do expect you to help grandma if she asks for your help." I said, "Sometimes you may not be available." I said, "But in this moment, you could have helped her." I said, "Okay." I said, "You're not in trouble." I was like, "But I'll help you get more clear about what's appropriate." Some shit I said, child. And then he was like, "Okay." And then my uncle still had an attitude, but I was just like, "Okay." So then I'm looking at it like, okay. And so then my uncle tried to make peace with Zen by getting us dinner, and then my uncle came to give Zen a napkin. But by this time, Zen is like, he on my fuck list. Like, Zen, he was like, "Nah." And my uncle gets mad at him again. He's like, "See, you know, trying to be nice, da 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 da." And Zen can see right through that. Zen's like, "First of all, you yelling at me and threatening me with a beating, and you didn't even apologize." Like, Zen don't play that. And so just because you trying to be nice now, Zen's like, "You yelled at me and you not, so then but I understand Zen was playing, but my uncle still took it personally. So it's just like, I'm like, "Oh God." And so I was like, "Okay." I said, "Okay, this is a teachable moment. And if I be around these people, I'm definitely gonna have to let them know this is how I parent, and this is how you can help me in parenting my child." But that old school shit that y'all used to, that you're going to listen how to behave in certain instances, but yelling at him and demanding him to do something, that's the quickest way for him not to do nothing. Okay. Ask me how I know. It's like I've had to learn how to communicate with him to get what I want. But I also had to put my ego in check that just because he's my child doesn't mean he's my servant. So it's like I pick and choose moments, or when I reprimand him or when I just be like, well, he don't have to do if he don't want to. It's just, yeah. Zen ain't for the toxic black culture. That's what I'm saying. He's not. He is not for the toxic black. You got that blame right. He is not. And we don't raise him to be. It doesn't mean that the toxic black culture or the toxic Mexican culture don't show up in this household, because it definitely do. But I realize that my child has really helped me learn how to parent him and what that means. And sure enough. All right, y'all. I'm about to go. All right. So I'm going to go. And this has been a good conversation. And I will see y'all another time. I'm usually on Instagram. So y'all can come on my Instagram and hang out with me there if you're not already there. All right. I'll see you later.